Ready? Thank you.
Madam President, at this time, everyone from the waiting room has joined the Zoom call, and we are recording at this time.
Please call the meeting of the City of Tonawanda Council to order. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Newman, excused. Cameron,
Here.
Brownstrom,
Here.
Mylum,
Here.
Cook.
Here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Before we go through the agenda, I just want to go over a couple things. This evening, there may be a lot of emotions. I just ask that everyone's respectful of our council and our community as we do the best job that we can to get through this evening together. Just a few blocks away from here at the John Roth Funeral Home, the Newman family is present as they're greeting friends, family, dignitaries, community members, and others who will pay their respects to their husband, father, grandfather, and brother. He was a dedicated councilman who served his seat with integrity, transparency, and honesty. I'm going to reserve personal comments about Mr. Newman towards the end, but tonight you will see that his seat is draped with a black cloak and flowers. I wanted to thank the fire department for putting the cloak on, and for our city clerk for arranging for the flowers. During our informal session, Judge Lilac will administer the oath of office to council members Sean Rautenstrau and Dave Mylum. We're thankful to the both for their continued service. So that will take place during our informal session. Also this evening, during our formal session, we'll recognize Shane Mast for his bravery and courage from May of 2020. Former Chief Stewart will be here to present a Medal of Honor to firefighter Shane Mast, as well as unit citations. Shane protected his brothers and sisters in our community on that fateful day, and he no doubt saved lives. We're forever indebted to the men and women for their bravery and sacrifice from that day. Last but certainly not least, this evening we say thank you to Mayor Rick Davis and Second Ward Councilwoman Dawn Cameron. We will have a presentation for the both of them, and we're thankful to both of them for their dedicated sacrifice, commitment, and dedication to our city. So with that said, let's go through the agenda. Council on the minutes? Sure. Everybody go with that?
Sure. Yes.
All right, any questions on the bills?
I did not have any, Madam President.
Mr. Mylum, you good with sponsoring?
Absolutely.
Any questions on resolution 3? The MOU for Chief Strasburg. Okay, if no one objects, I'd like to sponsor. Questions, comments, anything? You good on that? All right, the next is resolution 4 with the operating budget to amend for the reassessment. Any questions, comments on it? Feedback, anything? Okay, so it's sponsored by Councilman Rautenstrau. We're moving along. All right, next is the resolution authorizing the 1.5 increase for January and July of 2022. Council on this?
Yes.
Sure. Any questions on that resolution? Next is the resolution by our engineer to award the Historical Society building modification design and construction phase to Flynn Battaglia Architects. Everybody good on this?
Yep.
Questions? Do we want to do council?
Yes.
It's a long time coming on this, right, Mr. Johnson? All right, then next is another resolution by our city engineer for the Young Street Improvement Survey Design to D Donato. Any questions on that? Comments? Do you want to do council?
Yes.
Am I good on this?
Yep.
Okay. Next, at the request of our Parks and Rec Director, there was a request to amend the salary line for the Clinton Park and Broad Street playground improvements. Mr. Renstrow, you said you wanted to support that, right?
Yes, please.
Will be by Mr. Renstrow. Any questions on that? Okay. Council, do we have exec? Oh, we're good, okay. All right, so no exec. All right, let's go around the room. Cameron, do you have anything?
Just have just a quick one. Traffic and safety met last night. They're having issues down in Gastown with tractor trailers still. So they're trying to come up with a signage possibly. I think what's happening is they're coming down off of the bridge, realizing that they can't go any further and they're going up Youngs or Longs. And they're taking out, the residential property on the corner. So we instructed her, they're going to be sending her a letter, just telling her to reach out to the police when they see this happening.
Did she reach out to traffic and safety first? Okay.
Yeah, I believe, well, we received a letter yesterday. In the letter, it was stated that they had responded or reached out to the mayor's office and to the DPW. And they were told via an email to reach out to traffic and safety. So that's what they did. We researched it last night and we're going to reach out to her and let her know that she needs to call the police when she sees it happening. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Mr. Renstrow?
I have nothing new to report, other than the discussion about the Young Street property, but I assume you're going to bring that up when we get
Yeah,
there.
we can talk about it now if you want.
Sure. Just, this was brought before us. I think it's a great opportunity to develop our downtown area. I know there was an offer in front of us. I just don't know what our next step is, or if anybody is in agreement on this. What our next
I believe
steps are.
the city assessor went to go grab a sandwich and then he was gonna come
Oh,
in.
he's right
but-
Right here.
Oh, there he is. Awesome. Come on forward. Yeah, so I know there was a discussion about the price in our email from May. Our city assessor indicated a $7,700 value, but we should ask between 10 to 12. So I don't know how we went from 10 to 12 to 5,000. That was my big question.
I can't answer that question. From a standpoint, my opinion of value is what I stated in that May letter. I mean, the only conversation that I did have was that the value could, that because of what this development would need, could I personally, within the opinion value, live with 5? Yeah, I could. I think it's a little on the lower end because of the value that it presents to the owner. This is 0.11 acres of property that really unto itself is of no use to really anyone except for the owners of that property and the future uses they want to do. When I said ask 10 to 12, it's like anything, you're always going to ask a little bit more than what you anticipate. I think a number, if we could sell it for $7,500, that would be sufficient. Could you live with 5,000? Yeah, you certainly could. Because of what's being done. Now, maybe you caveat in the sales contract, again, more question for Brittany or Michael, that, if you agree to a lower price, it's based on potential redevelopment by them. The value of the land, again, it's not like value of a house. It's really difficult. There's really value to one person because the parcel unto itself has no value to anybody except for the owner of that property.
I might, just in regards to that property and where it is, currently it's leased to them.
Correct. So owned and liability, responsibility of the city of Town Line.
And as long as it's in the property is in their name, they still have full rights to it. That's how the contract was written, as I believe.
That part I'm not sure about because I wasn't involved with the contract negotiation. I see the mayor shaking his head, yes, so I'm assuming that that's the case.
Gotcha.
But I don't know the answer to that, but get the mayor or probably answer that question.
Gotcha. And I guess the next part of that is that at this point, we can't build on it. That's still not a question for you. I guess it's not something that's.
Yeah, but I did have a quick conversation with Eric. I mean, the property, it's 4,400 square feet.
Mhm.
With, unless somebody wants to put a shed there, there's really nothing could be done to it because of setbacks and what have you. I mean, so if we were to parcel that piece, so we'd have to create that piece of the parcel and sell it, right? And who else would want to buy it except for whoever owns that corner? Because that's, I think the benefit of that property is that you have a vacant restaurant in a very difficult business environment that probably will not reopen as a restaurant, very highly doubtful. And the potential for a reuse of that property on a key corner that's very visible to the residents of the city, I think, in my opinion, would say I might accept a little less than what I proposed, but my number that I propose is what I propose, which, using purely a value of $70,000 an acre at 0.11 acres equates to about 7,700. Yeah, maybe ask for 10. Ask for 10 to 12 and then see what would happen.
And the only thing holding that up, part of their interest is the fact that they have a development there, they have a plan there, but because of their plan for residential, for condos, the potential retail space, is that part of the lot is what they need to comply with the zoning, to have a proper amount of frontage.
The appropriate parking and setbacks and whatever, they would need that as part of their parcel. So if we were to sell it, then what would happen was we'd have to create a legal description of that parcel, which is not a difficult thing. Create an SBL number and then sell it. Which again, it's not on paper. I mean, Brittany and Michael could do that very simple. But right now, that property is not a parcel like the parcels that you live on. It is a piece of roadway that we license usage to the owners of Smoke on the Wall.
And we
So we have to create it as a parcel,
And just in line with that, right now, it's a sitting vacant piece of property. I think it was around 189 was the assessed value on it. I think I asked you in the email, based on what they've presented, presented to the council. This could potentially
Right.
double or triple given the new
It's almost
assessment.
triple. Current assessment's 120.
120.
On the existing property. And my projected assessment based on what they have proposed was that it would be about 320 to 350, maybe even higher with the way apartment space is increasing.
Gotcha. So potentially,
Yeah, I think
that's a good amount of tax revenue in the long term.
I think my biggest concern is the current use as a restaurant. Independent restaurants is a very difficult thing in today's business climate. And I don't see that as being a use. I think a reuse of that property would be beneficial to everyone. And it's a very visible corner that we really want to have looking of high quality for the residents. But again, nothing should be given away. We should bargain in good faith and, accept, what I think is whatever the offer may be. Now, if they say, hey, you only want to pay 5, do I say you throw that offer out? No, but I would be, would certainly want to put some attachments to that to guarantee we're going to get some things in the future.
Mhm.
But, we don't have to sell. It's our property.
John, you're the liaison for land sales. What do you think?
Well, when he first brought this to our attention when we were all Zooming, I had even said then, even before talking to Dave, yes, it's going to benefit this business owner. Keep in mind too, the amount of money that he's going to be getting in, because he does have riparian rights in the back of that. So he's going to be gearing it towards people with boats that can park boats back there. So 10 grand is not out of the realm. I don't know where the 5,000 came in. My understanding is back and forth when these emails originally had started. he invested some money into that particular corner. I get that. However, that's a whole separate deal than what we're discussing at this moment. So personally, $10,000 is where it should be. And then that should be where your starting point is.
I mean, I know where you're coming from, but I do, the number that he invested into it was almost $40,000 to develop that
Mhm.
land. Yeah, it did benefit that business, but again, he saved us from doing something with that land with a piece of road that we wanted to abandon, that we wanted to bring that down to a 4-lane highway. And the intangible costs that he's already saved us about not having to maintain, repair, plow a piece of land. I'm not trying to give anything away. I remember $5,000 was an offer. I don't know.
I
Perhaps it's
don't
a
remember it
question.
ever being an offer.
And I don't think we ever had an
I
official
will
offer.
say this, I had discussions talking to the administrative assistant and some of that, what would be like a minimum number, and I, hit 5,000 with caveats. It may be something to be considered, but again, it was conversation, ultimately, the council will make whatever the decision is, so, I mean, I offered an opinion that, do I think 5,000 would be horrible? It's probably a little less than I'd like, but I look at what he may be doing, but again, the council's opinion, you saw my opinion of value, and if the council's position is that we want to ask for 10,000, then we certainly should, and if that's our line in the sand, that's our right. But I would hate to see the potential redevelopment fall apart, just my opinion.
I think we have to start somewhere.
Well, I
and
mean,
you-
has, not for nothing, sorry,
No, you're good.
but has he given us a physical contract?
Not that I'm aware of, Brittany, you seen anything of it? No.
So
Nothing
put it in,
about
or, put it in writing, just like everybody else,
Yeah.
and bring it to the council.
I mean, if you like, I could initiate that conversation with him. Or if you want to have it through the law department, I'm sure Brittany and Michael can do that.
Yeah, we can have, is Mike here? Okay, so Brittany, can you and Mike get together and,
I mean, if they are serious about it, then they should come to us with a contract. So that our representatives can take a look at it.
well, and prior to a direct sale, we have to publish for 3 consecutive
Right.
weeks, so. And in the publication, Brittany, correct me if I'm wrong, we have to put the price, correct? Okay. I support your initial answer of 10 to 12, and I think that's.
I mean, I think if that's the position the council wants to take, we should advertise it that way. And then, see what comes in, because, maybe someone else may have, I mean, again, the only way that property is valuable to anybody else is if they can strike a deal with the current owner and buy the entire thing. Maybe they're gonna do something.
Right.
I am always leery of that because obviously we're seeing the results of that. It's for people to buy the property and sit on it. And I hate to see that continue to be vacant property deteriorating condition and an eyesore.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's just, I mean, you agree the 10 to 12?
I mean, they gotta bring us a contract, right? I
I'm
mean,
on
you bring
board.
a contract and then that's how negotiation works. You bring a contract. The council knows what they're dealing with. All we saw was a proposal via Zoom of what they wanted to do.
Mhm.
Come to the council, bring your proposal to the new council.
Perfect. Anything else on this?
I just had a quick question, if you have a second.
We're not taking comments by the public during this point, but we will reserve that at the 7 o'clock.
Thank you.
Mr. Armstrong?
I just want to say, I think, and I haven't heard from Dave yet, but I think we're in agreement that selling that property is something that they're willing to do. It's a matter of negotiating the price on it.
Right, exactly.
Right. And at this point, we haven't had an official offer. It was my understanding that there was a request for help for a letter of intent with our city attorney that they didn't
Mr.
agree on
Armstrong,
because it
you
was my.
just get closer to the microphone so we get your comments on.
Sure. It was my understanding that there was some confusion as to the letter of intent or the offer, working with our lawyer. So it's been dragged on for a while. So we've kind of gotten to a point where it hasn't been discussed and how to move forward on it.
So let's bring it to the forefront. Let's get a letter of interest and we can discuss it at the next council meeting.
Okay. And just, I mean, fully understanding, because I believe that's marked online right now. So he would have to bring forward a letter of intent brought on his part and an
Right.
offer on his part.
Right, and I believe our deputy city attorney and our city attorney will be reaching out to them
Gotcha.
just to get that.
And just to be clear on the pricing, if, I guess that's another question to ask too. The negotiating agent on this, would that be?
That's the mayor.
Pardon me?
It's the mayor.
Would be the
Mayor
mayor.
negotiates,
Cool.
but we give the mayor direction.
Right.
So I guess my question still hasn't been answered. I don't know how we got to 5,000. And we started from 10 to 12 to 5, so I think that's something that we have to further look into.
Fair enough.
Right. Anything else, Mr. Rounstrau?
Nope, that's it for now.
Mr. Mylum?
Nothing to report at this time.
Mayor?
Nothing.
Who wants to, John, you want to go first?
Sure.
Judge Lilac, if you could just come forward. Oh, yes. Do you want to take a few minute break? Okay, let's take a few minutes before the swearing in. Sean, do you want someone to take pictures? What do you? Good job. Good job.
Just waiting for you. The old keeper on the wall. Jim, do you want to like set up right here? Is that? Oh, yeah, that's like, they don't want to do. I'm sure they'll see Christmas vacation. Hey, if we could have everyone's attention, we're just going to have a brief swearing in ceremony for Sean and Dave. So, could you please raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, please state your name.
I, Sean Robinson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
the Tonawanda City Charter,
the Tonawanda City Charter,
and Code of Ordinances,
and Code of Ordinances,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Third Ward Council Member
of the office of Third Ward Council Member
of the City of Tonawanda
of the City of Tonawanda,
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You're done?
You've got it. Sean?
You just have to sign the oath.
Come around. Unless I should leap the desk. Thank you.
What's it? Up to you. You took it out. The old folks. You're in the- Okay, Mr. Milo? Please raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I, please state your name,
I, Dave Milo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New York,
Constitution of the State of New York,
the Tonawanda City Charter
the Tonawanda City Charter,
and Code of Ordinances,
and Code of Ordinances,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Fourth Ward Council Member
of the office of Fourth Ward Council Member
of the City of Tonawanda
of the City of Tonawanda,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Unless anybody else says anything. Anything else for our formal? Do you have anything else before formal?
I do not.
All right, let's take a few minutes before we go out on the floor.
I went a couple weeks ago. Stop at chocolate store though.
All right, we'll be back before 7. Jim, we're just taking a break before 7.
Okay.
Right. You don't feel well.
Yeah, why do you think Mark chimed in?
Right. And I shut that down right away. Sal's in the hospital. Who? Sal, she was in the first ward. You know. I don't know. Yes, Judge, you can.
Hi, honey, how are you?
So after resolutions, I get a chance to compliment you guys.
Yes. Keep it short because we want to go.
Very
to the
short, you gotta go
funeral.
over there.
Yeah.
I was there this afternoon.
How's Carrie?
He looks, that, I hate to say it, I hate when I see this. He looks better now than it's on. Wait till you see it. It's unbelievable.
You got his pink suit on?
He looks, I don't know about lately, I've been to a couple of wakes, funerals where people look back.
Right.
No, I got a little champagne because these guys are going to party.
Can we pop it open now? Let's go bubbly.
You want to do it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
What?
No, they're bottles. So they're not going to the one on Friday and not Friday. Might come on Friday. New Year's Eve day. What time is it? Is it 1 o'clock? Yeah.
You serious? We can't pop open one now.
I mean,
We can't pop open one now.
these are there. I would have brought you one. I would have brought you one.
Councilmember Rautenstrau. Yeah, yeah. we have cooks in there? Why don't we do this? Is this a great thing to do?
I wouldn't, Donna.
Judge has champagne. Judge has champagne. And I said, pop it open and have something. And then Judge said, oh, that's a great idea. And then Don being the voice of reason said we probably shouldn't.
I'm always for it.
Me too.
I was considering bringing a bottle of.
Gave him his
We have 27 minutes. If you guys are up for it's your champagne though.
And it's 7 o'clock.
All right, let's call the meeting of the City of Tonawanda Council to order. Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Newman is excused. Cameron,
Here,
Rautenstrau,
Here.
Mylum,
Here.
Cook.
Here, please stand for the pledge, which will be led by Councilwoman Dawn Cameron.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. You're up.
First.
We do it after the prayer.
Dear Lord of heaven, giver of life, we thank you for Tom Newman's life. We thank you for his love for the community, his warrior heart, his love for his wife, his family, his friends. Thank you for his courage and his steadfastness. Oh, there's no greater love than to lay down your life for another. Tom, live that. We're broken, Lord. We're saddened, broken besides ourselves. Tim's family is broken. Friends, the community is broken. But Lord, in that brokenness that's where you are. You're in the midst of that. And you can relate. And for this reason you were born. Yet the Christmas miracle, inclusive for everybody. A greater hope was manifest, made real to this world. Goodness and light, may we hear it, despite the injustices and tribulations in this side of eternity. Amazing grace indeed. And dear Lord, we pray, not because of our merits, but because of who you are. We pray your comfort, you heal, inspire, assure, and strengthen Tom's wife, Carrie, Tom's kids and grandkids, his brothers and their families, the whole City of Tonawanda family. Peace from above, from heaven, it surpasses all understanding, and this is a comfort we pray. And oh no, it won't be darker here in our beloved community, with Tom on the other side of eternity. The scriptures liken temporal physical death to a seed of amazing life potential. The outer shell needs to die first, that breaks away, before real life and real growth come forth, sprouts forth, most wonderfully and most abundantly so. Yes, yes, indeed. We resolve, with your help, brighter and even brighter. May your greater life prosperity come forth, shine individually within our own families, amongst our neighbors, with each other, and corporately in community leadership, everyone in this blessed community. Tom wants us to carry on, and victoriously so, with our continued life journey here. And yes, he wants us to carry on with the business of the city, triumphantly so. Lord, we thank you for Tom Newman. We love him, we love his family, and we love this community. Guide the rest of this meeting in your name, amen.
please remain standing for a moment of silence for Thomas A. Newman, who served the Common Council since 2019. Thank you. You may be seated. Stewart, you can, former Chief Stewart, if you can please come forward, and Chief McNulty. Then we'll turn up over to you, gentlemen.
Good evening. I'm here tonight, probably my last official capacity. I'm joking that I'm going to give this uniform away for the Salvation Army. It's solid. But anyways, the reason we're here tonight with our firefighters is that we have some commendations that are long overdue. It seems like we've had one interruption after another. Obviously, the COVID was the main reason that we've taken so long to do this, but there's been other issues. In fact, I even thought that next 20 minutes we may experience a structure here is one more obstacle, but hopefully that won't happen. But even so, we're happy to do this tonight in the shadow of what's a great loss for the city and an unimaginable loss for the family. So without further ado, I'm going to move right along, and I'm going to ask Assistant Chief Shane Mass to step forward up to the podium here, please. On this date, December 21st, 2021, a letter of commendation is being presented to Assistant Fire Chief Shane Mass for his actions he took in attempting to protect and aid a City of Tonawanda police officer. In the early hours of Tuesday, May 26, 2020, Tonawanda Fire Department was requested by the Tonawanda Police Department for assistance at a crime scene to provide lighting to process evidence at that location. At the time, Captain Shane Mass responded to that scene to set up overhead lighting from the rescue truck. While still on scene at 3:41 a.m., a suspect being questioned by the police approximately 2 houses away from where Captain Mass was situated began shooting at the police with an assault rifle. Captain Mass, anticipating that there would likely be casualties, immediately notified fire headquarters to respond with help. One officer, Detective David Milanich, was hit by gunfire and ran for cover towards Captain Mass. As the injured officer approached, Captain Mass grabbed onto him and placed him behind the cover of the rescue truck. As the shooter was still at large, Captain Mass decided it best to evacuate the injured officer away from the scene and to an area where he could provide treatment. Captain Mass assisted Milanich to an area 1 block away at the corner of Morgan and Seymour Streets and requested assistance. Mass and Milanich were met by the crew of TFD Car 6, who then rapidly transported the officer to fire headquarters. For his quick and decisive actions and concern for the well-being of his law enforcement counterpart, and while placing himself in imminent danger of active gunfire, Assistant Chief Shane Mass is hereby presenting this letter of commendation in the department's Silver Medal of Valor for an act of bravery. Along with Captain or Assistant Chief Mass Award, I also want to recognize a few other people, members of the department, who also responded to that situation and acted very professional. Just when I finish with these guys, I have one extra set of accommodations I'm going to do also, and then we'll be done. The unit citation for exceptional act in the line of duty will hereby be presented tonight to Assistant Chief Jim Barber, Assistant Chief Shane Mass, Firefighter John Moore, Firefighter Josh Page, and Firefighter Nick Haskell. On May 26, 2020, at 0341 hours, TFD was notified that a shooting suspect had opened fire on several police officers on Morgan Street, and at least one officer had been struck. Platoon Captain Shane Master was on the scene when the shooting began, instructed other fire units of the situation and requested Car 6 to meet him and the injured officer at an isolated location. Duty officer, Assistant Chief Jim Barber, along with firefighter paramedic Josh Page, and firefighter EMT Nick Pascal responded immediately to that scene and rendered care to the injured officer. Not knowing that the shooter was still at large, the decision was made to evacuate the officer to a safer location at fire headquarters, where the crew provided additional medical care prior to the officer being transported to ECMC. For their swift and decisive actions while facing an extremely dangerous and critical situation that allowed for proper medical treatment for injured officer as well as his removal to a safe location. The members of Platoon B are hereby presented this unit citation and commend each member for their truly professional response. Will Chief Barber, Chief Bass, firefighter Moore, Page, Pascal, please come forward. That's not the order. It's good. Yeah. The last course of business I have to take care of is something that's long overdue as well. And it's got to do with the, what we've had gone through so far with the COVID virus. So as the COVID-19 virus took hold of the world in early 2020, the pandemic conditions that ensued created yet another occupational hazard that would greatly affect all healthcare workers, and in particular our first responders. Information described the need to protect our firefighter, paramedics, and EMTs while they responded to, treated, and transported infected patients were received from federal, state, and local resources. Other information received described the need for decontamination and sanitizing procedures for equipment, vehicles, and living quarters, as well as the need to restrict and screen persons entering fire department buildings. The need to resort to a 24-hour work schedule became a necessity that would require much planning and configuring. Additionally, as time went on and the science surrounding the virus developed and changed, it became necessary to create and issue other standards, policies, and IAPs, incident action plans, such as the need to create a reopening plan and to register our personnel for vaccinations. The information described above was often vague and in some instances would even contradict each other. This and the need to implement safety procedures, changes in the work schedule, building modifications, and to have to constantly remain aware of new information about the virus became an overwhelming endeavor, and there is no way I could have stayed ahead of that and had things come out as good as that, how I feel as successful as they did for the fire department and our members. So I will now issue another letter of commendation and a unit citation to 4 of our members. The professionalism efforts put forth by all Tonawanda Fire Department personnel have made it possible that the department has been able to successfully navigate through the hazards presented by the COVID virus. But had it not been for key personnel, the level of success and the level of safety of each of our members would not have been reached. And those key personnel are Assistant Chief James Barber, Captain Josh Lapham, Assistant Chief Shane Mass, and our Office of Emergency Management Director Mark Banks. For the work Captain Lapham and Assistant Chief Mass performed serving in the roles of Department Infection Control Officers, and for the work Assistant Chief Barber and our OEM Director Mark Banks provided me personally during this trying time, each is hereby presented with a letter of commendation for meritorious service. So would Barber, Lapham, Mass, and Banks please step forward? again, I just want to thank these guys in particular and all the members of our fire department for doing all that they have to keep us safe and effective and to have a truly professional fire department that faces a lot of adversity in the next couple of years. As this continues, I'm sure, along with new chief and all the, that you guys will act just the same. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank our council for providing this opportunity tonight. It's always nice if we can do a public forum. But I'd also like to thank our outgoing mayor and his administration for all the support they give, especially with all the COVID stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. Mayor Davis and Councilwoman Don Cameron, if we can go in front of the bench, we have a presentation for you. On behalf of the council and the entire community, we thank you both for your service and dedication to our city. And this is a token of all of our appreciation. So thank you.
Still something for both of you. On behalf of the Democratic Committee, a special thanks from South Dave and Don for your service over the past 8 years. Done some great things for our city, kept up our progress, and left it in a better place than they found it. And you should thank that. I deserve a better send off than somebody like me. I says a little more out of that, but we appreciate everything you did personally. I just like to say thanks for inspiring me to step up and start our government and get this started. So thank you. Thank you. On behalf of all of us, city, the Democratic Committee as well, special thanks from all of us. It's been an honor and pleasure serving with you for 2 years, which I had longer to serve with you.
You're not getting rid of me that easy.
I know, and that's what I mean, really be a part, be involved, be part of the community. I had to step back and I came back right into it. I hope you do the same. It's been an honor work serving with you, showing great leadership for our community, great representation. So that we're all thankful.
Thank you.
All right. I'd like to call up Assemblyman Conrad.
We'll do Dawn first. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to Dawn. As a colleague from the Town of Tonawanda Council, we talk about shared services, right? We talk about intermunicipal cooperation and commitment. We've done cleanups together. We talked LED lights. We've done amazing things. And I'm here today to thank you on behalf of New York State, the 140th Assembly District, for your service in the city of Tonawanda. And today I'm going to present you with a citation on behalf of her strong, prudent use of taxpayer dollars, fostered positive working relationship with the council and the city employees, as well as accessibility to all residents here in the town of city of Tonawanda, and working with the town of Tonawanda, and being a point person for local development corporation and beyond. I'm going to present this citation to you in recognition and with gratitude for your many contributions to the city and the neighborhood that you have so served. So thank you.
Thank you.
And congratulations. And appreciate it. So Rick and I started our journey, I think, 8 years ago, when we were running for different positions. I was running against Kevin Hartwick for Erie County Lead, And Rick had just been prior fourth council person come back to run for mayor. We campaigned together. We had a lot of laughs, but we also worked on talking about what's good for the city and what's good for the town. We worked with Smoothie Booth together. I've got a lot of cherished memories. City of Tonawanda football when the stadium was open and you won the raffle ticket I gave you. But on a serious note, Rick had a phenomenal vision. You kind of become an amateur of all things in these positions. When it came to community development and finding grants, especially with Gateway Harbor and the Erie Canal and all the development potential. I sit on the tourism board and we're talking about all these things, these potentials that make New York City so great. And Rick was a big part of forming that here. And I'm very appreciative of the work you did here. And so I know you're not going anywhere either, especially with that fashion taste. As your tenure, you're a native son of the city of Tonawanda, you have a fresh vision for this hometown, focusing on the vast potential of Main Street and City Waterfront. I think that's gonna be a lasting contribution that I think no one can ignore. So here, on this 20th day of December, I want to present the citation to a family man, military veteran, meteorologist, online as well. I appreciate your forecast and general volunteer in recognition with gratitude for the many contributions to the city and its neighbors. So thank you, Rick. I was asked end by saying my deepest condolences to the loved ones and friends of Councilman Tom Newman. We worked together. We had a lot of great arguments. We had a lot of great positive relationship. It was something that really meant a lot to me. We would talk on the phone, we text, we'd argue. It was great. It's the kind of working relationship you want, and he will be missed. So my deepest condolences to the family, loved ones, and friends. You will be missed. So thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman. All right, we will proceed with our agenda. Communications from the mayor have been ordered and filed. Communications from officials and correspondents have also been ordered and filed. We are not going into executive session. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public on the resolutions. Mr. Clerk, anyone who's joining us virtually who would like to comment on the resolutions?
Madam President, at this time, I do not show anyone in the Zoom call looking to make any comments on the resolutions.
Okay. Let's roll.
Okay, resolution number 1 by the council, second by the council.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Resolved that the common council minutes from December 7th, 2021 be accepted as filed.
Comments or questions? No, please call the roll.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted. Mr. Clerk, I have a motion to waive readings 2 through 9. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Madam President.
Second by Ms. Cameron. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 2 by Councilmember Mylum.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it, Madam President.
Seconded by Ms. Cameron. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 3 by Council President Cook.
Do I have a second?
I'll take it, Madam President.
Second by Mr. Mylum. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 4 by Councilmember Rautenstrau.
Do we have a second?
I'll take it, Madam President.
second by Mr. Mylum. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 5 by the council, seconded by the council.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 6 by the council, seconded by the council.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 7 by the council, seconded by the council.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 8 by Councilmember Rautenstrau.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it, Madam President.
Second by Ms. Karen Diner. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public following the resolutions. For those that are joining us virtually, there is a spot for you to raise your hand. Please do so and the clerk will call upon you. For those that are joining us in person, please feel free to approach the mic. Judge.
I'll make this short because I know you've got. This is my first council meeting, I believe, since I retired from the bench about 6 years ago. I thought it was important to attend tonight for a couple of reasons. One is to share my heartfelt condolences for the empty chair tonight. Reminds us, what is it all about? Is it about political ideologies? About life and death and family? We know the answer to that. Secondly, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank each and every one of the people. Why? I'll tell you why. Because you are probably 0.007 whatever in our population numbers who have engaged and served in public service. That is so special. You should be commended for that. Win, lose, or draw. You've been here. A lot of people haven't been here. You've done that. And I respect that. Years ago, I said one of the greatest blessings I had was, and Dale Slapis and I talked about this, was we had a key to City Hall. That was so special to us, as I know it's special to each and every one of you. But not everybody gets a key to City Hall and serve our city. We loved it, we did it, you're loving it, you're doing it. Individually, let me just simply say this. Don, thank you for your contributions on the Development Corporation. You were a great liaison between the city and the corporation. And we truly got that corporation off the floor. And I understand it's back in business, it's going to be doing good business, and I'm grateful for that. But Dawn, thank you. Jenna, a good leader. You're leading this body into 2022. I feel confident that you will do a good job. Why? You care. You care and you take the time to do it. So thank you. Mayor Davis, Rick, first of all, I want to thank you. When I was judge, you and I worked together for several years. And we had a good relationship between the court system and the city. And that's because of you. I never forgot that, Rick. I want to thank you for that. Secondly, Rick, whether you win, lose, or draw is not really the point. It's when you retire, so to speak. The question is, what did I leave behind me? What was my legacy? I had a nice card in the mail from you a couple months ago. And in that postcard, there was like 6 different projects that you had your name on, that you completed. Can't take that away from you, Rick. You did it. And for that, City of Tonawanda, we say thank you. Again, it's not whether you win, lose, or draw. We all have a shelf life. But that's what you did, and that's how you leave here with your head on. And for these 2 gentlemen here, many years ago, and it could be 40 and more, we used to have a little celebration downstairs with champagne. Gail said, Casada, you bring the champagne, and I did for many, many, many years. Because we bifurcated our ceremonies between now and New Year's, gentlemen, I didn't want you to miss out on our champagne celebration. So, with permission, may I approach?
Yes, Judge.
So, in tradition, Sean and Dave,
Thank you, sir.
have a sip on us.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Lastly, leave you with these 3 words, PPP. Peace, progress, and public service. And you're all capable of that. Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Any other comments by the public? Mr. Clerk, anyone who's joining us virtually, any comments?
Madam President, I do have a comment from the, one of the members on the Zoom call.
Go ahead.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
This is Mark from the property at 77 Young. First, I wanted to express my appreciation to those recognized this evening and also to express my condolences for those lost. And I wanted to also thank you for discussing our future projects over at the Old Smoke on the Water. And I want to just clarify one point about the conversation regarding the purchase of the property. And that came about because I'm having a hard time getting an answer to my question, which is regarding the lot area calculation. And so my question is just that if we have the permissive use of the property for the duration of our ownership, does that area count towards our total parcel size?
So I will have our assessor and our deputy city attorney who are both present this evening. They can look into the matter. You certainly don't have to answer it unless you know the answer.
I really think the person who should probably answer that will be building inspector.
Okay. So Mark, we will get back to you on that answer, and I will personally make sure you get an answer. So we will connect as soon as we get this answered.
Okay, great. And then I just wanted to also mention that I apologize if you guys were waiting on an offer from us. The last correspondence that we had with the city attorney was that we were waiting on the common council to make a decision to sell. So we thought we were waiting on that decision, not necessarily for an offer to come forward. So sorry about the miscommunication.
No problem. We'll work through that, and I will get that question answered for you in due time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments by the public following the resolutions? All right, hearing none. Mr. Rounstrau.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to start out thanking, just congratulating all of our firemen and thanking them for all that they do. It was a nice ceremony and a nice accommodation for them all. I got the opportunity to speak. Don and Dave, you guys will be missed. And congratulations and thank you for all the great work that you've done. And finally, I would just like to say that we, in regards to Councilman Newman, he'll be a loss to us. He was somebody that I respected. We worked with. We were colleagues here, and myself, this council, and our community suffers loss, and he'll be missed. It was an honor working with him and a pleasure to get to know him. So simply, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rounstrau. Mr. Mylum.
Thank you, Madam President. Usually as fourth ward person, I sound like the fourth try through everything and repeat everything. So it's going to sound that same way tonight, but thank you, Rick. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you to your families. You're definitely leaving it in a better place than you found it. To Carol and John, I'm excited to write the next chapter with you in Tonawanda. I can't wait. And welcome aboard. And the next time we'll see you both, you'll be officially up here, and I'm excited for that. So thank you. And I'd also just like to share my condolences to the Newman family. I have a very funny story about Tom from when I first met him about 20 years ago. We, a group of friends and I used to play a turkey bowl football game on Thanksgiving, every single Thanksgiving. And we would talk about it from the day after Thanksgiving until that every single year. And one year, well, not one year, but every year the rumors grew and how great our play grew. And, you know, we were supposed to you just went out and had fun. But one year we heard that there was this semi-pro guy coming to play. And I decided right then I would find out who he was first and stay as far away from him as I could. And I managed to stay as far away from him as I could. And he was fast. We were too old to be playing tackle football, but we were still playing that. He was taking people and tackling them, and he was absolutely the star. On one particular play, I was pretty far away from him as usual. And I thought I had it. It was my time. I was going to get the quarterback until this moving brick wall came out of nowhere and laid me out far. I flew. And when I looked up, there was this smiling guy standing over me wearing a purple bandana, shaking my hand saying, "I'm Tom Newman, nice to meet you." So that was my first encounter with Tom, and that was at least 20 years ago. It was an honor to know him. We sometimes did disagree up here, but it always ended up with a handshake and no worries, we're still good. He's going to be deeply missed by this community. And that's all I have to say. Merry Christmas to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mallon. Ms. Cameron.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to say thank you to the city of Tonawanda, the second ward, for allowing me the last 4 years to represent you. I am not going away. I'm going to be very active. You will see me back here. As far as my partner, I'm going to miss him. Him asking me for a pen every single meeting. Sorry. So tonight, I left him one. To his wife, my heart breaks for you because that could be any of us. Political aside, get vaccinated. I understand the reason why some people don't do it medically, but the long-term side effects are much harder on your family. And that's what breaks my heart about the entire thing, because now his family has to go on without him, and we have to be there to pick those pieces up for them. So please be safe over the holidays with your family. Be smart. Get boosted if you haven't. Get vaccinated if you haven't. I want to see you next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor?
I want to start off by applauding the efforts of B Platoon and Shane Mass. As retired Chief Stewart said, we would have liked to have done a ceremony like this a lot sooner. The current climate kind of prevented us from doing that, but I've known Shane a long time, and doesn't surprise me that he was first on the scene to assist our police officers And I want to congratulate him, thank him, and all the B platoon members for their efforts that night. It's no secret that myself and Councilman Newman didn't always get along. But I want to thank him for his years of service to the city. And sitting up here isn't easy. And I do have a few personal stories about myself and Mr. Newman that I kind of try to keep those to myself because I hold those kind of near and dear to me. But I cannot express enough my profound condolences and thoughts to the Newman family. And I'm not going to sit up here and tell people to get vaccinated or get the booster, but I will send a message to everyone that if you're not vaccinated and you're not boosted, kind of look around when you get together with friends and family over the holidays and just think to yourself, do you think they'd be better off without me here? I don't think that answer should be yes. So, and if we can turn from that to somehow my speech, I'm going to get my 2 cents worth tonight. If you would have told me when I got out of the Air Force in 2001 that I would have spent 4 years on the council and 8 years as mayor of the city I grew up in, I would have told you were crazy. For me, this is more than just something to do. It was about positively changing and progressing the city forward through future generations. I'd like to think I did just that. Over $30 million in grants help prevent further tax increases in the general capital and sewer budgets. We held an unprecedented amount of public hearings on updating the local waterfront revitalization and comprehensive plans. We started the Main Street program, which has morphed into the local development committee to help the city compete with other communities that have industrial development agencies pushing for commercial development in their towns. Through 2 zombie grants we received, we cracked down on blight in our neighborhoods. Also, thanks to the zombie grants, ordinary citizens stepped up and formed a community development corporation called City of Tonawanda Neighbors United. These civic-minded residents continue to push for positive developments in the city. Through our partnership with Erie County, $2 million has been invested in our neighborhoods with an additional $1 million planned once the foreclosure moratorium is lifted. With the help of Western New York Law Center, we have helped numerous families facing foreclosure stay in their homes. Over $2 million has been invested in our parks and playgrounds. Over $6 million spent on streets and sidewalks, and working with Erie County, we are finally able to complete the rails to trails. We are in the final stages of over $20 million in investment in our sanitary sewers. The city has a development boom, the likes we haven't seen in 3 decades. Milton Cat, 618 Delaware, Parkview Estates, Canal Walk Commons, and Canal View Estates, just to name a few. We had over $6.5 million invested in our central business district, thanks to the Intermodal Hub, Canal Street Plaza, Gateway Harbor Rehab, Docks Program, and the 2022 replacement of the Long Homestead Bridge. We are completing year 3 of saving $750,000 a year by reworking our retirees' health insurance, and we've saved around $900,000 in shared service agreements with Niagara County and the towns of Amherst, Tonawanda, and Grand Island. When I was first elected mayor, 38 acres of Spalding Commerce Park was available. Now, only 9 acres remain unspoken for. Milton Cat will open shortly, and work will begin next year on Pellini Enterprises project and the just announced Mang Kramer Properties investment. Our finances have never been better. Our bond rating continues to be strong, and we have an unprecedented amount of money in our rainy day fund. The state controller's office has also given the city of Tonawanda its most stable rating since that program began in 2012. All of this while trying to steer the city out of a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. We tackled environmental concerns like coal tar contamination in Gastown. Finally got the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to take ownership and remove the radioactive materials from the Tonawanda landfill, closing of Tonawanda Coke, and the removal of Grand Island tolls. I was able to secure the location of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Helicopter, helped VBA Chapter 77 secure a visit from the Wall That Heals, and was the first local politician to pledge to end veteran homelessness. As we look ahead, we have $40 million investment from Karuba and Company, Smoke on the Water revitalization, All Dogs Academy redevelopment, 250 East Niagara development, the absolute bane of my existence, Little League, set for construction at some point next year, and the expansion of Veterans Park with new shelters and a new bathroom. There's plenty to be excited about in the next few years. I had a good meeting yesterday with Mayor-elect White, and I want to sincerely wish him the very best of luck moving forward. I hope you continue to move our city forward in a positive direction. I also want to welcome Councilman-elect Carl Nocera and wish him the best of luck. And Councilwoman Dawn Kamendiner, I know you're not going anywhere, like you said. It's been a pleasure to sit up here serving with you for the last few years. I had the pleasure of working with many wonderful elected officials and City Hall employees over the years. I'm not going to name them all, or we're going to be here all night. They know exactly how I feel about them. The one person I want to emphasize working with is former Council President Carl Zeiss. There were many times that Carl and I disagreed on policy, but he is the one person I respect the most in this world. Never used his position for political gain, knew how to run meetings sufficiently and effectively, never looked to stab people in the back, and never played politics. It was always about what was best for the city. I miss him. I want to thank him for taking a very green councilman and a very green mayor and leading by example. I've also worked with some wonderful department heads. I never viewed any of them as my employees, but rather partners in helping run the city. I want to thank each and every one of them for allowing me to lean on them for their wisdom over the years, and thank them immensely for their positive leadership. You are the heart and soul of city services. I want to thank my two chairs, Erie County Democratic Committee Chairman Jeremy Zellner and City Tonawanda Democrat Chairwoman Gail Cypus for their guidance, advice, and help throughout the years. I want to also thank our Democratic committee members that helped carry my petitions in less than some desirable weather, and thank you all for your friendship. I had the pleasure of having two different administrative assistants over the years that were at different ends of the spectrum. My first administrative assistant, Charlie Rock, brought a wealth of knowledge of planning to the office. This is why in my first 4 years, we tackled the local waterfront revitalization and comprehensive plans, helped start the Main Street program, zombie program, and Little League development. Charlie was at the forefront of those initiatives, and I cannot thank him enough for his wisdom, his leadership, and most importantly, his friendship. My second administrative assistant was Chuck Gilbert. For those of you that don't know the story, Chuck wasn't my first choice to replace Charlie. When my first choice fell through, Chuck happily accepted the position, and I couldn't have been more happy with that decision. Chuck focused on development, grants, HR, kind of a jack of all trades. He helped oversee projects like Gateway Harbor Rehab, Canal Street Plaza, the Docks Project, and many more. He is the reason why the Milton Cat deal didn't fall through, and also why the likes of Karuba and Company and CNS Construction are so interested in developing in our city. I would gladly put the compliments of Chuck up against anybody in this city, and it wouldn't be close. We are a better city because of his efforts, and I thank him for his leadership and profound friendship. The one person that's been through me for all 8 years has been my executive secretary, Caitlin Rack. I couldn't have picked a better individual to be the first person residents contacted or met with when they walked into my office. Her smile and bubbly personality are infectious. I will definitely miss both. I want to thank my family and my kids for all your love and support over the years. In this day and age of social media and the media in general, I can't imagine how tough it is to see things said and printed about me that are blatantly false. For the most part, you all didn't get sucked into that vacuum, but rather were there supporting me every step of the way. I love you all. To my beautiful wife, Megan. Promise I won't. While you were only able to enjoy half the journey with me as mayor, I really wish you would have spent the full 8 years with me. Life, I surely know, would have been a lot easier. There isn't anyone I know that has a stronger drive and work ethic as you do. I know you hate politics, but I thank you for always willing to be my sounding board. Also, thank you, honey, for helping me and able to do everything I did. You are my rock. I love you. Please go easy on that honey-do list. In closing, the blueprint is there for our city to prosper for many years to come. With the amount of development to be completed in the next few years, coupled with the unrestricted monies that the city has in its coffers, there should not be any reason for a large tax increase moving forward. I prided myself on not being your typical politician. I never needed this job to provide for my family, nor to help gratify some insatiable need for power or social media likes. Every decision I made was about the betterment of the city, not my reelection prospects. I wish other politicians at the local, state, federal level would have this same mantra. I never changed who I was or put forward a fake persona for others to see. It was my honor to be your mayor. I cannot thank the residents enough for allowing me to sit up here for 12 years, 8 of those years as your mayor. For the last 20 years, I've had at least 2 jobs. It's time to relax and get some sleep. Come January 1st, I will proudly add the title former public servant to veteran meteorologist, husband, son, brother, father, and grandfather. Merry Christmas, God bless, and thank you.
Thank you to Councilwoman Dawn Cameron and Mayor Davis for your service. Dawn, I remember sitting down 5 years ago, we were at Athena's, and I said, you know, get involved, and you did, and I thank you for that. Mayor, you have a deep love for our community, and your dedication to our city is commendable. We appreciate all of your accomplishments. I ask that you both not go far and stay in touch. I hope you both enjoy the next chapters of your life, wherever they may take you. I'd like to congratulate council members Sean Rounstrow and Dave Milam, who took their oath of office this evening. I look forward to working with the both of you, as well as Councilman-elect Carl Nocera and Mayor-elect John White. It seems very surreal that I'm talking about Councilman Newman in the past tense. There's so many residents and other elected officials that have reached out and expressed their condolences on his passing, and we certainly appreciate all of those. Tom was a friend and a colleague. And just as he was to many up here, he was a friend and a colleague. Our hearts are not complete with him gone. Tom and I had a very unique friendship, and we respected each other. We worked together on several projects, and it did not matter our political affiliation. We were able to resolve those to benefit the residents. Tom was a warrior, having graduated from Tonawanda in 1986 and living a majority of his life in the city of Tonawanda. I got to know Tom personally and not just politically back in 2018 when he decided to run for office. Tom and I were the first ones to always get blamed if something went wrong. And one day he told me, Jenna, just lead with love. You always lead with love. So please show someone you love them today in his memory. Now, knowing Tom, he would want me to stop talking and just move on to other city business. And I was able to visit Tom in the hospital recently. He sat up and we were having a conversation, and it wasn't about politics. It was about our families. He predicted that the Bills were going to lose Monday Night Football against the Patriots, and he said, I'm gonna turn the game off. And it was around the time when his classmates were coming over to decorate his house. And that really meant a lot to him. And we talked. And from time to time, he would text me when he was in the hospital. And I would say, hey, Tom, you're one step closer to getting home. And unfortunately, he didn't make it home. I know that he'll be missed by countless people that he has impacted. He's impacted me in the brief time that I've known him. And I know so many of us are hurting and grieving, and we will never forget Tom and the legacy. And his legacy will always live on. He leaves behind a beautiful wife, beautiful son, daughter, 2 granddaughters, and 2 brothers. Please keep his family in your prayers and support tonight and tomorrow and for the days and weeks and months and years that come. Thank you, Tom, for your friendship, your service to the city of Tonawanda, and for dedicating a majority of your life serving our community. A great soul serves everyone all the time. A great soul never dies. It brings us together again and again. With that said, I would like to make a motion to adjourn in memory of Thomas Newman. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Madam President.
Second by Mrs. Cameron. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Have a great night.
At this time, it concludes our Zoom call. Thank you for taking the time to join us on our meeting, and we'll see you at our next meeting on January 4th, 2022. Have a great holiday.